This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com, and as my special guest tonight, none other than former Smoky Mountain Wrestling and ECW star Mustafa, who was partners with New Jack in many places and had a long career, and now he trains wrestlers, and we're going to find out all about him today. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Oh man, we're doing good, man. It's good to see you, man. Shoot, I finally got on the show, man. Thank you.
Happy to have you. You're in warm California. I'm in freezing cold Canada, -8 here right now. So,
Oh man, I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you on that. I've been in the cold weather before, and man, it's something else, man. It's something else.
so let's talk about your childhood. Were you a wrestling fan growing up?
Yeah, my grandfather got me hooked on it, man. You know what I'm saying? So it was mid-Atlantic where I was living at North Carolina at the time, and so it would come on TV, man, and we was running in front of the TV. Then, man, my he didn't look right. He was like, man, I need to sit your ass down. Wrestling on, man. It was mid-Atlantic, so that was Johnny Valentine is one of my favorites. Wahoo McDaniels, of course, Ernie Ladd. And but the best feud that I used to watch the most was the Anderson brothers versus Wahoo McDaniels and Paul Jones. That's the ones I used to see all the time.
Did you ever go and see it in person back then?
Oh yeah, man. My grandfather, man, made me miss school one day, man. Told me, hey, you're gonna be sick tonight. It's Tuesday night. It's a Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Championship match, man, against Johnny Valentine versus Wahoo McDaniels.
Nice. The crowds
Yeah.
were a lot bigger in those days compared to today, I guess.
Well, it's because they limit their minds. There's a limited thinking here. There ain't no such thing. It's abundance of negativity. It's abundance of positivity. It's what you're using your mind for. You know what I'm saying? That's thinking, or you can get that integrated thinking that'll move you ahead of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Someone on here is asking if you actually smoke pencil shavings.
Yeah, I did, man, but it was wet up too, though. You know what I'm saying? That night that happened, it was wet up too, y'all. Hey, kids, don't do this. Don't do that part, man. Yeah, I was floating. Yeah.
Did you have any kind of an upbringing like New Jack where there was kind of a controversial growing up, or were you more of a normal childhood?
Well, my dad grew up with a lot of teachers in my family, but my mom and dad were school teachers. See, and while they were living and stuff like that. And my dad's side was the thug side, pimps and everything else, trying everything. You know, and then on my mom's side, it was all church stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I got both sides. So you got to find a way to make it work. So I had to chill out when I go on the other side with my mom's side, and then on my dad's side, it was everything goes just about.
Did you play any sports?
Yeah, I was a basketball player in high school. Then when I got to the military, man, I went to the Army National Guard, and then I went to Air Force and stuff like that. But I was powerlifting. I was trying to do Greco-Roman wrestling, getting my ass kicked. And then I was a boxer for 2 years. And then I was, I tried rugby too and got my ass kicked in that too. So I was doing it all, man. I was just trying to stay moving, you know what I mean?
Did you go overseas at all during your time in the military?
No, man, I didn't go overseas until I got into wrestling. Then I started going overseas.
How did you get into wrestling from the military?
Well, what happened was, man, let's not incriminate myself how I got out of it. But let's just say it like this: I went and tried out the first time. I flew home from San Antonio. That's where I was based out at, and so flew home, tried out for the NWA, and Gene Anderson, and talked to Gene and met up with him, and then they had a bunch of guys trying out. They had goons and everybody else, the wrestling goons. Division I, everything. And I tried out. I didn't make it. I didn't make it the first time because, man, we was doing 1,000 squats, man. It was the real deal. Dojo, man, everything. So I didn't make it, which was good for me because I couldn't get out the Air Force at that time. So about 6 months later, I had another leave time, and the tryout was there, and I flew back home to North Carolina, and I went and tried out, and then I made it. But I got my ass kicked. It was definitely something else. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, Al Snow said that Gene Anderson actually bit him when they did their little shoot when he tried out there, and he didn't make it either.
Is that all that he did to him? Shoot, I know it. man, they bit me, threw me down, punching on me. I'm punching back. I'm eating the mat. You name it, man. We went through it, man. But I'll tell you what, though, I wouldn't change it. Now, the thing about it was, jumping the gun a little bit, New Jack was ready made already. See, I had to go through all the ranks and stuff. And, so, man, I don't regret it at all. I'm glad I did it, man. It made me a better human being. I'm going to tell you that.
How was your match in WCW against Doom when they brought you in for Worldwide?
Oh, dude, let me tell you something. Those guys, man, they did a double tackle. You know the double tackle deal. They throw you into the ropes, and then they get in the three-point stands. They hit me, man. And I said, "Welcome to wrestling." When I went down, I looked up in the lights. I was looking all up in the lights, trying to get my bearings and stuff. And I jumped up and I said, "I love it, though." So Butch Reed threw me over the top rope, right? And, my over top rope skills at that time, being a jobber, wasn't as great as it. So I fell over, and I went over top and everything. Got back to the dressing room, and Butch Reed said, "Brother, you got to do better than that over that top rope. You almost killed yourself."
And I guess you also did some enhancement work in your early years with WWE as well. Some of those guys were known to rough up some of the enhancement wrestlers. Did you ever have any incidents like that?
No, man. Kurt Hennig was one of my favorite. Man, Kurt was stiff, but he hit you in the right places. You know, your chest, your back, drop kick was stiff. You know, but I love it. Kurt Hennig, Jake Snake, all of them took care of me, man. When I was up there, it's WWF to me, but it's WWE now. But it's WWF in my mind.
Was there ever any interest in those days of bringing you on since you were a big guy and you had a good work ethic?
Hell no, they was missing out, man. You know that some people don't know talent. You know, and I wasn't smart. I wasn't smart enough as I should have been. I was green as the Stokely's. People don't know what that company is, but it's a green bean company. Makes corn and everything else. But I was just green, man. You know what I'm saying? And but I was willing to learn though. So anybody would talk to me, you know, I would learn. If you came up to me and I seen you Hannibal and you had some words to say to me, I would listen. I wasn't that kind of guy like, "Oh man, I already know how to do this," you know.
Did you have a favorite match from your time in WWE?
The favorite one was with Jake, and Jake DDT me, and Pat Patterson told me, you know, you get an extra fee for letting that snake get on you. So they slid the snake on me. Snake crawled all over me, man. And so I got back to the dressing room, and Pat Patterson came back up to me, man, you know, and give you a little payoff and everything. He said that I need to tell you something. I said, "What's going on?" He said, "You're the first black guy to let that snake get on top of you like that." So we cracked up laughing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Ever anything strange happened with Patterson and you? He wasn't known to go after the black guys, but
Pat was straight with me, man. Pat told me. See, the thing about it was Gene, the one smarted me up, told me to stay in my lane and stuff like that. Pat Patterson told me, you know what his deal was. You know what I'm saying? And I was a straight up dude. I still had the street in me. You know what I'm saying? And you know, but Pat was willing to talk to me in a way to smart me up to the business, man, and just get me better, man. It wasn't none of that, you know, what I heard before. Not to say that they wasn't true or not. It's just it never happened. It wasn't coming this way anyway. I'm a straight dude, man. Straight up dude, man. You know what I'm saying?
You always hear about those Steve Lombardi rumors and a couple other guys.
Yeah, you know, but see, that's the thing about it, man. Come on, man. Sometimes they welcome that. bullshit. You know how that goes.
So how did you end up in Smoky Mountain Wrestling?
Well, so what happened in Smoky Mountain, man, was let's go back a little bit. We was in North Georgia wrestling, me and New Jack. So Jack was New Jack. He was already New Jack. See what I'm saying? And I was trying all kind of gimmicks, man. I had on karate pants. I had paint on my face. I used to come to the ring with machete. I would eat meat, raw meat. You name it, man. I was trying to do it. So you know, while we were in the streets together, kicking it, because we knew each other before actually the business. You know, before we found out that we was working. I told him, I said, hey, man, would you like to tag? He said, yeah. I said, all right. So we finally got together and we did a few matches together and stuff. We didn't have no name at the time. I was just Mustafa Saeed, and it was New Jack. And New Jack was good people, man. So I know people was talking about how crazy he is, man. But New Jack was my brother, man. New Jerome, that was my brother, man. You know, we had a difference of opinion and things like that. And he'd get mad at me. And I had it coming a lot of times because I was doing some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But it was all good. You know what I'm saying? And we forgave each other. And every time they would have a shoot interview and he was going off on me a few times, he would call me that next day. Hey, we got something going on, bro. Stay ready. Stay ready. You know what I'm saying? So what ended up happening was we worked down at Stone Mountain, Georgia in a show. It was with Kevin Sullivan, Ronnie Garvin, and all them guys like that. And we came out and Jim Cornette gave us an offer, man. That was it.
What was the money like in those days? I think Jericho said he was making $800 a week or something.
Yeah, I was up in there. I was up in that neighborhood, man. See, the thing about it, man, I was really street, man. So I stretched my dollars, man. I knew where to go and what to take, and not in that way, but you know, well, yeah, I was. But you know, I knew what to do, man. You know what I'm saying, to keep it going. And shoot, I made that money work, man. Shoot.
Did they pay for a place for you guys to live, or did you have to do that yourself?
No, we had a spot. We had a spot. It was Bruiser Bedlam. It was Johnny K9 to some people. It was us, Balls Mahoney. He was Boo something at that time. But it was Balls Mahoney, New Jack, D-Lo. You know, and D-Lo, let me tell you one thing about D-Lo real quick. D-Lo was I predicted D-Lo would go further as far as up in the corporate side of the game. And I knew that would happen because he just had that knack for it, and he could work too. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, he was good, and he kept a job in the office for a while in Impact and a few other places, I think.
yeah, he knows how to he know how to play the game, man. You know what I'm saying? With me, I talk too much shit sometimes. You know, and so they might not want to deal with me. But a lot of the boys love me though. You see what I'm saying? That's what really counts, is to have that character. The hell with the reputation. It's good to have a good reputation, but the character is that you don't want to lose that in your life. You know what I'm saying?
How did you guys come up with the whole Gangstas gimmick?
Well, be honest with you, man. What's his name? Jim Cornette gave us the name, and he said, "How about the Gangstas?" And we was already doing stuff out in the street, so we all laughed. But I don't think his laughing was different than our laughing. You know what I'm saying? So the New Jack he was a bounty hunter. Jerome, man, he's something else, man. You know what I'm saying? So he was out there and I was out there, and he came up with the Gangstas, man, and we didn't look back. You know what I'm saying?
Would you hang out with him in your off time, I guess, or?
Oh yeah, man, Jerome, man, we hang out all the time, man. We was all, man, drunk all the time, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I was never sober a lot in my career. You know, I was gonna have me a ball, man. You know what I'm saying? I said I got to get down. You know what I'm saying? I got to function the way I know how to function. You see what I'm saying? And but I'm not sitting there saying that's the way to go all the time. I was a functional drunk. I'm gonna say it like that.
You feuded with the Rock and Roll Express. How was that?
Man, that was great, man. That was, you talking about learn. I learned more with the rock and roll than I did a lot of times with other places because Smoky Mountain was they had a good group of people up there. Tracy Smothers, the Armstrongs, Lumpy Dumpy, and all of them because they had so many of them. Armstrong and Bullet Bob, man, a good dude. You know what I'm saying? Just gave us the game, man, and just handed it to us, and learn from them. You know what I'm saying?
Tracy Smothers was there too. He was a pretty good guy. Did you get along with him?
Oh, Tracy, we got along real good. Tracy was our lawyer in a lot of those towns, man, because they wanted to arrest us all the time. Because we had the racial thing going. We had the X flag. Jack was talking about O.J. Simpson. We had them rattled up there, man, and we would go. We were big draws in some of the bigger cities, some of the smaller towns, man. It was a good draw, but it was a little different. They didn't like us like that. They didn't like our kind.
Yeah, I guess in the South, some of those towns are pretty far back in the times.
Oh, dude, hey, they still driving Model Ts, man. You know what I'm saying? No, it wasn't that bad. I'm exaggerating, but it was still going back. You know what I'm saying? Because like you would see things sometimes, you'd be like, "What the hell is that?" And comes to directions. We didn't have GPS at the time, and we used maps and stuff like that. So some of the towns wasn't even on the map. Where we go to. So I'll give you a good impression of what the one guy told us how to get to the town and get to the place. All right, y'all. Y'all from out of town, huh? I said, yeah, we are from out of town. How'd you know? But anyway, yeah, just make a left right there at the big rock, and then there's a big tree, and it's always a lazy dog sitting there under the tree all the time, sleeping. And you make a right there in the building. It'll be right there.
What was the craziest fan experience that you had? New Jack was telling me about a few of them, with the fan attacks in those days.
Well, the one that the one that tripped me out was this old man got so mad at me, man. He had his cane and he was hitting me on my ankle in the ring, and I was looking at the police like, "Hey, you gonna get him?" Because the dude too old to get the beat down. You know what I'm saying? So I looked and I said, "Hey, man, come on, man." You know what I'm saying? So I got off the apron. They thought I was going to do something to him. That's when that's all I wanted for him, to just send him back to back to his seat and everything. Then I had an old lady was just going off. I'm just going off, having a good time. But the ECW was the ones that I had the most wild times. But we just had a tough time, man. What was tough about it was just getting to some of the towns. Didn't know where you were going. Sometimes we just guessed where we were going, and then we read the map and we'll find a way. You know what I'm saying? So that was about it, man. It was really crazy about Smoky Mountain.
You mentioned Bruiser Bedlam. Did you see that Dark Side of the Ring about him, and what did you think about it?
Well, I already knew about Bruiser. Bruiser told me about what his past was. You know what I'm saying? So, I was sad when I found out, that he was gone, man. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a good dude, man. You know what I'm saying? Down to earth. I remember we went to Atlanta and we went to party, man, and we had a good time, man. Yeah, he's a good dude, though. Yeah.
And did you see the New Jack Dark Side of the Ring?
Yeah, I was in it.
Yeah.
I was in it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So you know what though, man? I will say this, and I really miss the brother, man. You know what I'm saying? We laughed, like I told some people, we laughed more than 10 lifetimes when we were hanging out, man, and working together at times. And he was already a talent. And I'll tell you this, people, none of that stuff was my idea. When we were called the Gangstas, Jack the one came up and told me, "Hey man, buy this. Let's get these fatigues. We need to wear this, and things like that." Man, I was get the money, man. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want no belts. I tried to take the belt to the pawn shop once. I tried to take that belt to the pawn shop. That man said, "Man, nah, I don't take that. I don't take that with you." You know what I'm saying? So I want that money, man. You know, and them bags, man.
You mentioned that you used to be a power lifter. What were your best lifts ever as far as bench press, squat, and deadlifts?
Okay, these are unofficial. You'll never find them nowhere, but at the witnesses if they're not dead from taking steroids, because all of us was on them at the time in the 80s. You know how the 80s was, Hannibal. Come on now, you know what I'm saying? I was taking shots, bro. You know what I'm saying? We're taking shots, pills, liquids. You know, what you drinking? Shit, it said steroid on there, so just, didn't know what you was taking sometimes. So it was 485 was my bench at a weight of 220, deadlift 625, and I squatted 650. That was my best ones. Now these are unofficial though. These are ones where you just do them in the powerlifting gyms, and there was no competition. I ain't got no video of it. And that's the funny part is a lot of my ass whoopings too. I ain't got no videotapings of them either. You know what I'm saying? But I sure remember. I took some L's. You know what I'm saying?
So how did you guys end up in ECW?
Well, that was Jack's doing, because it was Cornette and Paulie, I think, talked a little bit. I think promoters. Let me tell you something about people like promoters and bookers. They are good at what they do, but don't believe them. Do not believe them until the money's in your pocket. I'll say it like that. But anyway, they were talking, and next thing you know, we end up going up to ECW. Jack told me, he said, "Hey, man, we're going to ECW." I said, "What's that?" Because, like I said, there wasn't no social media back in the day. It was a little bit of internet and things like that, but, it wasn't like it is now, Because first of all, some of the stuff we did back then, we wouldn't be able to be on TV doing some of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? The blood and the chairs and the tables and those things back in the day. And we had the X-rated kind of things with the females, getting pile drive with G-strings on. You know what I'm saying? You want to see that on now, because the way we were talking, it was everything, man. The language was bad. But when we end up there, man, we was pitted. They put us against Public Enemy right away, man. That was great. That was great.
What did you think about how Public Enemy were treated in WWE? It looked like they were kind of bullied out of there pretty quick.
Well, this is what they do, man. This is where booking and promoting, if you don't really know what you're getting yourself into, they will dog your ass. I'm just telling you. And that's all they wanted to do was get Public Enemy up there and try to make them look like some idiots, and then get them out of there, just like they did them in WCW. They try to make them God rest their soul. But they were a great talent though, and I think if people knew what they were doing and knew how to run storylines and right angles and things like that, and not being so damn greedy and selfish, this business wouldn't be the way it is now.
Yeah, they're making good money in the big leagues, but it's definitely not as entertaining. The most entertaining thing I've seen in a while is that fan taking down Seth Rollins on Raw.
Yeah. Hey, when I seen that, I said, "Get him, get him." I was just saying get him. I didn't know which one to say get him. I thought Seth was going to do something to him, and then I seen him take him down and got 2 points. I was like, damn, man. You know what I'm saying? But when we used to walk through the aisle, man, we want to kill somebody. Walking in and walking out. I wish somebody would have ran up through there. He better be Bones Jones or somebody or somebody before we fight. You know what I'm saying? I'll still be fighting him too. See, he'll probably catch me across the jawline, but I'm trying to get him. You know what I'm saying? So
apparently that guy was only about 5'4", 180 or something too. He wasn't even that tall.
Hell, was he that tall? I thought he was like 5 feet. I thought he was Kevin Hart size, man. You know what I'm saying? When I seen him run out, I said, "Look at this wild haired guy. Seth gonna whoop his ass. Seth gonna whoop his ass." Next thing you know, I said, "Come on, Seth."
He's lucky the referees saved him.
He lucky the referees are some shooters. See, some of the referees used to be shooters. See, a lot of people don't know that. See, some of the referees will whoop your ass. You know what I'm saying? Right.
David wants to know your thoughts on Paul Heyman.
Let me tell you something. Paul Heyman is the most, he's a low-life, backstabbing, one of the greatest people I ever worked with. I got so much respect for him. He was a low-life lying ass. You know what I'm saying? And I lied too. And boy, we enjoyed each other's lies. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we worked out. We worked together, man. You know what I'm saying?
Are you surprised that he has such a prominent role still in WWE?
Who, Paulie?
Yeah.
Boy, yeah, man. You listen to him talk. He'll talk water into an ocean. Yeah, I'm just telling you how he is, man. He'll say some stuff to you, and I didn't never go for it, but you know, shit. I'm from, man. Shit, you come on my daddy's side, man. We had some people, man, that do some stuff, but he was just he was a good dude to me, man. You know what I'm saying? But we got along because I wasn't shit at times, and he wasn't shit. You know?
Yeah.
But he was good people.
Maria wants to know who was your stiffest opponent.
Stan Hansen. And Stan was that's a good dude, man. Stan got back there and he knew I was green as the grass outside right now. And he told me, he said, man, just follow me and just listen to me. And then we didn't go over nothing. We didn't go over anything. No, it was just the finish. His lariat was the finish. And knock you in the next week with that lariat. Everything was stiff. His punches, the kicks to the head, man, I loved it. It was cool, man. It was cool. They came back in the dressing room and asked me, how was everything? Bill Dundee, and he was a producer down at WCW. He said, man, you all right? And I said, yeah, I'm good. He said, you sure? I said, yeah. He walked out the dressing room. I said, hey, Stan, want to work you again the next night over at the job for him again the next night. I said, all right, cool. Got my ass whooped again. Man, it's like a tornado when you get in the ring with him, though, man. Man, I will tell you, he said, this is the money maker right here. He always told me that. He said, it's the money maker. That's how you make your money. You know what I'm saying? So.
Someone's asking your thoughts on Mikey Whipwreck.
Mikey, man, I miss you, brother. He's good people, man. You know, he ain't dead. I'm just telling him, I miss him. But yeah, he was good people, man. A great talent. I thought he was good talent. He had that look like, please help him. He looked like he's dying out there. And then he'll make his comebacks, man. And yeah, he was good. He was pretty good, man.
Jeremy wants to know if New Jack ever had beef with you for trying to get over in tag team matches. This must be from one of his shoots.
Man, like I told him, I said I had it coming. You know what I'm saying? Because there was the times I went out to certain places, man, and I did a few things I wasn't supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? I didn't pay attention to the details, to be honest with you. And Terry Funk went out there and told him, Jack, I think he's trying to take you. I think he's trying to take your gimmick. So I told him, man, I wasn't trying to take your gimmick, man. I got out there and this promoter, man, I take full responsibility. What I'm trying to say is I take full responsibility what happened. You see what I'm saying? By not paying attention to the details of what was going on. But nah, New Jack was New Jack. That was his stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? I was just there, and we were tagging, and we had a good chemistry together when we were together. So, but he's my brother. See, these people don't understand that. If you ain't never argued with your brother or family members and things like that, I don't know if you got any love for each other. To be honest with you.
I see. Mr. The Doc wants to know about the Chad Austin beatdown. What did you think about that? Oh, man,
when you get in the ring, that's what happens, man, sometimes. Shoot, I got a beat down. You know how many beat downs I got when I was jobbing? I'm super jobbing. I'm saying it like that. I make up my own lyrics here. So the hell with her, he didn't say something right. But when I was super jobbing, man, the Steiners threw me all over the place. The Road Warriors, Doom, Ron took care of me. Scorpio, Too Cold was tough. You know what I'm saying? I went through a lot of people, man, and you name a man up there. Kurt Hennig, like I said before. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of beatdowns, man. That wasn't nothing. What they talking about? I mean, it was rough, but come on, stop it.
Jeremy wants to know if you were there for the mass transit thing, and what are your
Of
thoughts?
course, I was in the ring when I seen that blood skeeting everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I was the one who picked them up and power slammed. I didn't know. Next thing you know, I looked back, man, I had blood all on my back. And I said, oh, boy. I said, we're going to need a medic. And the kid said that we're in the back of the dressing room, okay, that he was 21. But he just didn't. I had a bad feeling about before I even went out there because he wasn't in good shape. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't in no kind of shape at all. Not to say that you got to be muscular, super muscular, but come on, man. The man must have had at that time, and I'm not now. I know he's gone now, but he must have had 30-50% body fat on him, man. You know what I'm saying? And
it's okay. We knock dead people on this channel all the time.
Okay, I got you. And he didn't belong, man. You know what I'm saying? 21. That's what he said he was, but he wasn't but 17, man. And Jack got a hold of him. It was over. And then I got mine in, and we got out the ring, man, and said, man, it's terrible out there. I said, what? And I looked back, I said, man, look at all that blood.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot worse than that working in bars. So I thought that people take that incident a little bit too seriously for what it was. It's nothing that bad, really.
Exactly. Exactly. I've been a bouncer different places, man. Especially when I came out here in the West Coast, man, and Reno was one of my places I bounced the most. And I seen some stuff happen, man. And we had the Hell's Angels, the Mongols. Come on, yeah, I know what you're talking about, Adam. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
Mike wants to know if you smoke bud, and if so, what's your favorite strain? It's legal in California.
Right. Well, I see, this is what people don't understand, man. I've been clean since I'm 42. So I'm 58. I can't do anything. I can't do anything. So, but I do work around certain places. You know what I'm saying? I'm an independent contractor in different places, man. And at that time when I was hitting it was Trainwreck was my favorite back in the day. Now, I don't know if anybody know what that is. Some people do, some people don't. But it was Trainwreck was my favorite at that time. But yeah, man, it's one of those things, man, that it's not bad for you though. I keep telling people all the time, man, weed is not like alcohol and those over the counter and the prescription drugs, man, and be tearing people up and stuff like that. A lot of you going to end up smoking it later on because you're going to have to stay your ass alive. You know what I'm saying? So you better enjoy it while you can. They got the edibles and everything too, the gummies. You know what I'm saying? And I can't do anything right now.
And the THC pens, which are great.
Oh yes, yeah, all that stuff, man. I don't knock nobody smoking weed because I see people go to speed limit when they smoke. When they drinking, they go on 156 miles an hour, like one guy we seen on my team, the Raiders. Okay, it's good for you, man. It's nothing wrong with it in my book.
Yeah, and for the bouncing, I'm sure you wouldn't be too worried about a guy coming in who was high compared to drunk or on coke or crystal meth.
Right. You see what I'm saying? And those drugs, like anything a man put his damn hands on a lot of times, and don't let it. It doesn't naturally grow. It's gonna be fucked up. Let's keep it real.
Dale wants to know if you had any interactions with the Undertaker.
Yes, we were main event against each other two nights down in Smoky Mountain. And Big Mark is a good dude, man. He always try to help us advance. And due to the fact that my reputation and New Jack's reputation, which was a lot of that fed off of New Jack, it gave us a harder time to get in those kind of places, which I'm glad, man, because like you really you give up everything, man. You copyrights this and trademark that, and man, you know, guys can't even use the name they use in WWE unless they buy it.
Yeah, what do you think about WWE still saying their people are independent contractors when the contract is like this thick and you basically sign away everything to them, it seems?
Well, I tell you one thing, you better get you a lawyer. You better get you a lawyer and another lawyer to read some of those contracts they got now. Because I'm going to tell you, once you leave, man, you have a hell of a time working somewhere else unless you got your T's crossed and your I's dotted. I'll say it like that.
Egyptian King wants to know why you never went to WWE under a contract. You and New Jack would have had amazing matches against the Hardy Boys, Too Cool, and APA, he says.
Well, to be honest with you, man, I just didn't like the corporate side of the game. Not to say that I didn't want to go. Would have went, but something protected me from going at the time because I was still going independent. I was still going out to. I went to Japan, went out to England, went down to Puerto Rico. You know, I just liked it better that way. You know, now would I have taken the contract, not knowing no better? Yeah, I would have been one of those ones that signed it too. You know, next thing you know, oh, you can't use your name, you know, kind of guy. So I'm glad it didn't happen, to be honest with you.
Speaking of Puerto Rico, how was your time down there, and did you ever have any pay issues?
Never had no pay issues. I went down there because it was a little personal vendetta for me too. Not you know what happened to Bruiser down there, and shoot, I had to go and see, man. I had to go see what was all the hoopla, man. You know what I'm saying? About everything. Puerto Rico is gangster, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to know where you're going, and you better know somebody that knows somebody because hey, Camacho Macho Camacho got it. He got shot in the face down there, you know, and died, you know, in the hood on the wrong hoods. You know what I'm saying? Couple of guys get it, man. I went to projects all the time because I was drugged out. I was drugged out and alcoholic at the same time. But shit, I show up on shows on time, and I could go 30 minutes, 60 minutes, you know, if I had to, you know, because back then, you know, at those times you can a lot of chain wrestling, you know, you still grab holes, work them, and things like that, and Puerto Rico was so damn hot. You know, I drank a case of beer before the match, and I'd be done sweated it out before I even get out to the ring, you know, and my match come up. So.
And the other good thing, if you're an alcoholic in Puerto Rico, alcohol is really cheap there.
Yes. Yes, I'm gonna tell you right now.
So is cocaine. Not that I would
Yes.
necessarily know, but it's like $20 a gram.
That's why Camacho, what happened to him, I think the bags wasn't right, kind of thing, and he working people. You know, your payment ain't on time. You know, like it should have been, and things happen, man. And you don't stay in your lane, things happen, man. Because we know, man, that if Bruiser would have known that was going to happen to him, I don't think he would have went in that shower.
No, definitely not.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you probably saw Invader down there, but those were the days too before the internet. I remember when I was down there, I didn't even really know the story. It still really wasn't clear what had happened. So it's probably the same with you when you met Invader.
Well, I knew him. I knew who had done it, and you know, man, I investigated. You know what I'm saying? I knew who had done it and everything, and you know, I just had to go down there, man, and get my money, man. I had to go work and work for Carlos. Carlos Colon was a good dude. You know what I'm saying? it was one of those things that you had to have your mind made up that you was going to survive down there. No matter where I go, I was going to survive. I was a soldier, you know what I'm saying? I was an ex-soldier. I'm going to survive. And I went into some places where I shouldn't have been, and I came up out of there. You know what I'm saying? So I give all dues to the Most High for that one. But dude, I went to some places, and you get shot in the face right there on the spot. If they didn't know you or you didn't know somebody, blah blah. And you was right though. One of those things about it, though, Hammer, was I seen you work a lot, man, and I thought that you was a good talent too. You know what I'm saying? And I could tell, you know, that we get along because we were similar in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of the skin color. You know.
Yeah, I actually had a cop friend in Puerto Rico. Speaking of how dangerous it was, one weekend he told me there was like 19 murders in Puerto Rico, and it's not that big of a place.
Yeah, man, I used to hear gunshots in the places I used to go. And I said, oh, he didn't pay his dues. Whoever it was. You know what I'm saying? And we had a couple of guys that was tag team partner, we used to tag against, and they were cops. You know what I'm saying? And it was tough.
Thunder and Lightning?
Thunder and Lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They always had their guns on them too in the back. Usually.
Oh, dude, it was Gun City down there. Shoot, I had me a shank. You know, I didn't have no gat on me or nothing, but it was guns. All you do is grab one. It was on, I'm telling you.
Chris wants to know if you could tell us your best New Jack beating the crap out of somebody's story.
Well, the thing about it was, I remember when Jack went through the crowd. Man, we was damn. I couldn't even tell you where I was at because I was never, like I told you, I wrestled and I worked. It was okay, you know what I'm saying. But I was drunk and high all the time. So, but I punched somebody going through the crowd because they just jumped in my face. I said, you know, hey, I'm joking, but we ain't doing the Seth Rollins here. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So I punched him in and he went back and fell back and 3 other people went down with him because I hit him so hard. And then Jack hit somebody with a chair. You know what I'm saying? So we get in the back. Jack said, man, we're going to have to hurry up, put our stuff on and get out of here, Mustafa. I said, hold on, Jack, hold on. I don't think we got to yet. So the security that was out there, they said, hey, man, those people are happy. I said, happy about what? Y'all beat them up. They were happy because I clocked that dude. That dude, I ran up on me, man. I thought he was trying to. Man, I said, I'm getting a lawsuit tonight. Okay, blow. Hit him with that right hand. You know, he went down flying. 3 other people flew down there with him. And then Jack hit somebody with a chair. Man, we was going off. Then we went back to work, and it was Eliminators, I think, that night. That would happen. But ECW, somebody was always going through the crowd. You better get the hell out the way when we was coming through there.
Do you think there'll ever be another federation like ECW? Because I think that's kind of what wrestling needs right now.
Okay, let me ask you this. Have you ever seen any more, how would I say it? Have you ever seen anybody wrestle like Johnny Valentine ever again?
Not many, no.
No, man, nah. ECW. You see, you got to remember this too. We party in the back in the dressing room too. It was a party. It was a party. We get in the ring and we'd be drunk going to the ring and then come back out the ring and drink some more, smoking and you name it. Rey Mysterio Jr., one of my, man, good people, man. I remember me and Ray, man, was back in the back, man. We had, I had a big old blunt, man. I didn't have my dirty one, though. I didn't let him hit the dirty one because I wasn't trying to mess him up like that. You know what I'm saying? The wet one, that one was wet. That one, that's just for a special people for that one. But the one I had, man, so he's back there, and he said, man, I just signed with WCW, man. How you think I'm going to do? I said, Ray, I can't do that stuff you do, man. You going to make it. What are you talking about? I can't do that stuff you do. And they can't either. So you're gonna make it, man. I'm just letting you know. So.
And he's still making a fortune these days, doing great in WWE.
Man, he getting them bags, man. I'm talking about a tough. You talking about tough. He's tough. You know what I'm saying? Now, everybody, we got different toughness, Hannibal. You know what we talking about. You got your shooters, you got your street fighters, you got your guys that can tie you up and have you eating the mat all day. You know what I'm saying? But as far as just toughness, the Rey Mysterio Jr., man, yeah. He's that dude.
The Mick Foley type of tough that can just take a lot of punishment.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, one time we was down there and I was doing some squats. We was in back in the dressing room. Mick said, "How many did you do, Mustafa, before?" I said, "Did 100. This is loosen up, you know." I said, "Just 100." He said, "Just 100." I said, "What do you do?" I just go out there and work. Mick, I just go out there and work, man. You know, so he was good people, man. Good people.
How were the Dudley boys to be in there with?
We were good, man. We got along. I like Bully. I like Bully Ray. I like Devon. I know Jack had some heat with him, but who didn't Jack have heat with at times? You know what I'm saying? And people think he's just supposed to just when you family, man, you argue. You argue over cereal, who drunk the last bit of Kool-Aid, something. Okay? That's how me and Jack was. We were, man, you're talking about down to earth, good people. In my book, he was good people. I don't care how mad he got at me. I don't care what I had coming sometimes because, man, I was plotting too. Shoot. You know, I try to get my bags too. Yeah, come on.
What do you think about all this stuff that happened with Tommy Dreamer lately over the dark side of the ring?
With Dreamer,
he lost his job, I guess, at Impact just for saying something on dark side of the ring.
Let me say this, man. And you can't say nothing no more. You got the alphabet community, you got the Me Too and things like that, man. You can't even have your own opinion no more, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be honest with you, really Dreamer wasn't speaking on himself, which was a little surprising because usually stay in his lane. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, you gotta watch what you say. See, but that's why I don't mess with them jobs like that. I don't mess with those jobs like that. If I do get an offer, if I did get an offer, don't get me wrong, I would take it if you know. But for to watch my mouth, that's why I don't even try to get one from them jobs. You know what I'm saying? I stay independent. You know, like I am now.
Someone's asking who was the biggest pussy in the ECW locker room that fans might have actually thought was tough.
Man, you know what? I that part I'm not going to reveal because a lot of times, you know, that's something that you keep in the back of the dressing room. You know what I'm saying? I personally didn't see my energy is I can't blame nobody but myself. Some things are out of my control, but there's a lot of things, my thoughts and stuff like that. So I protect the boys. So say Hannibal, say what happened. You went back there and whooped somebody's ass real good, right? They didn't hear it from me. That was between the boys. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna leave that one alone. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I understand. One guy that you mentioned earlier that is really tough, and I know from experience, is Too Cold Scorpio, and Tyree wants to know your thoughts on him.
Man, that's my dude, man. That dude helped me out so much, man. We smoked so much weed, man, at the time. He smartened me up to the business, took the time out to talk to me. We still cool. You know what I'm saying? This man is still, do y'all understand? This man is still doing moonsaults. Okay, I'm 58, so he got to be around there where I'm at. This man's still doing moonsaults. He's the James Brown of professional wrestling. If James Brown did a split, he was still doing splits in his 50s. You feel me?
He doesn't have a choice because he's got a lot of kids.
Hey, he got a basketball team and some substitutes. Okay, he got some people that can come off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Charles, he's something else, man. But he's my dude, man. Good people. Tough though. You talking about tough. I'm talking about he got hands. He can take care of himself. So you can miscalculate if you want to.
And he can take it too. So you better be prepared if you're gonna start something with him. Even now,
right? A lot of ice. You mess with him, you might need a lot of ice.
Definitely. What did you think about Taz?
Me and Taz, we got along, but I just thought he was, to me personally, I thought he was just a little too uptight for my taste. You know, he's good people though. I mean, good people, man, but it just not that, you know, the energy is not for me. You know what I'm saying? But I don't hate him. I talked to him and we would do anything like that, but it wasn't we didn't hang out or anything like that. But I respect him. You know, he's cool.
Matt wants to know what tag team you made the most money working.
Well, to be honest with you, with me knowing the money, it was ECW. Though there were times where it didn't seem like that it was a whole lot of money, but to me, I knew how to stretch that money, man, and I was still doing illegal stuff and things like that. You know, too, and now it's legal because I'm in California. Okay, now it's legal, but I was doing my thing, man. You know what I'm saying? So hey, you give me 50, I make 50 into 5,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Mike wants to know who was the biggest backstage partier. There's a lot of them in ECW.
I had to put myself out there. I thought I was pretty good. I stay up all night. Sandman, definitely Sandman. Okay. Jack, well, he's all right. Jack was all right, you know. But it was Sandman and myself, and then RVD and me and Sabu. We all get together, and they be knocked out. I'm still going, man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I used to see the thing about it was I used to take Sabu. Sabu used to have some of the greatest, protein shakes and stuff. You know, you get the big canisters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I used to steal them all the time when he go to sleep. Once he go to sleep, they were gone. He said, "Hey, Mustafa, did you see my protein?" I said, I don't know what happened. Shit, I took that shit home with me. That's some good shit he used to have, man. You know, they was chocolate and that motherfucker dissolved real good, man. Good, you know what I'm saying? Good shit, man.
Yeah, I don't think Sabu's had that for a while, unfortunately.
Well, that's why I used to look at him sometimes. I said, man, you too. We'd be so fucked up, right? But see, the thing about it was, I would leave and go to a gym. So this is what I did in Puerto Rico. I worked out 4 or 5 times a day in Puerto Rico. I worked out in Smoky Mountain. I did the same thing, ECW. I always had those little hit 10-minute, 15-minute workout deals I would do all the time to keep the heart rate up and just get drunk. And then I go get drunk and high, you know what I'm saying? Then go do another workout. And then when it's time to go to the building, I go to the building. Get drunk again, get high again, and work out some more, and then go to the ring, man, and try to tear it up. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes people wrestle better when they're under the influence, I find.
Yes, I agree. You know what I'm saying? Ever since the days I'm going back a little bit, going back to where Gene had me. Gene made me work by myself because a lot of times I would show up at the spot, the barn up there, and there wasn't nobody there. And I said, "Oh well, I guess practice. We ain't gonna be doing too much. Shut the hell up. Start doing them squats. We do the squats, run the ropes, headlock takeovers, everything, man, by yourself. You know, how you doing the arm drags, throwing your body, you know, doing what you're supposed to be doing, and it work you out, man. I thank that man every day for taking the time out to give me that time, you know. And I used to watch him all the time. You know what I'm saying? The thing about it was we went to Charlotte, the Park Center, and it was Anderson Brothers. They was working somebody. And then we went to Coliseum and stuff like this. So Wahoo McDaniels and Paul Jones would come out, and boy, they would tear that place up, man. And I said, but it's funny. You go see them, and the next thing you know it, that's your trainer. Ain't that something?
Yeah, I know what that's like from some of my own trainers.
Right.
Someone wants to know if you ever watched Sonny's porno.
Yeah. I watch it. It's still not. That ain't my favorite though. That wasn't my favorite, but I watched it. You know what I'm saying? I got there's one that y'all need to watch. Is Cherokee. Is that's the one that y'all want to see some bootay. Okay, I like bootay. Okay, so
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
What do you think about Sunny over the years and all of her issues and the stuff with Chris that she was doing at the time?
Man, that was on Chris, man. You know, okay, that was the simp side of the game, man. You know, love Chris, man, but he had 2 feet. He could have walked away anytime he wanted to. He just whipped, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we all been there. See, we all been there. And nobody can sit there and say they've been the fool before. It was don't stay the fool was the what you try to do. Okay, but everybody's been there, man. You name them, they got women problems. That's the way of the world. I mean, that's what brought down the world a lot of times because of the men can't control their urges. You know, they thinking with they thinking with the small one instead of the big one. You feel me?
Yeah. Pete wants to know what was it like being in Slambury '93 in WCW. That was a big pay-per-view.
Man, it was good, man. It was good. I was a jobber, man. I got my money. You know what I'm saying? They just show up and they would pay you. Now, the ratio of what they were doing, like you tear a house down, and at the time, you got to remember, people don't understand about draws, and then being with the people who draw the money. You see what I'm saying? I've been on both sides. I didn't make the most money either, you know, as far as draw costs. It's always somebody bigger. There's Jeff Bezos, and then you have Elon Musk. You know what I'm saying? So it goes higher than that. So there's levels of this game. You see what I'm saying? And you have to understand that you want to just be in the number. So say, for instance, Stone Cold was the main event. If I was the second or third match, man, I was happy, you know. And I used to open up at WCW because when I used to go to the matches back in the day when I was a super mark, you know, the first match was always the most entertaining for me. And then I end up doing the first match lot in WCW in the house shots. And I was green as hell. And everybody I worked from Sergeant Parker to Steven Regal, those guys, I thank those guys every day, man, for being patient with me because I sure didn't know shit at times.
Mike wants to know which wrestler would get the worst ring rats.
Well, let's just say it like this now. Now there's nights where, boy, you knock down and you can get an 8. You can get you an 8 or so. But then it be them nights, boy. It's cold and rainy outside. And you just take what you can get, man. So I used to see some of them guys get one. I'd be like, man, whew, I think I'm next. You know, I'm getting one like looking like that. You go to some towns, let's keep it real. You go to some towns, man, there wasn't, that sometimes would be no knockouts, you know. And you go to other towns, man, in other cities, and you couldn't do no wrong. You everywhere you turn, bam, bam, bam. It's on and cracking. You feel me?
Yeah. The brother man wants to know what you think about today's wrestlers and would you give any training advice to them?
Learn how you know what we seen. You know what we seen how. Okay, they need to really learn to get beat up at first. See, when I get a chip on my shoulder, I went down to the UFC training center in Fullerton, California. I tapped 50 or 60 times a day down there for 2 weeks. I got my ass handed to me. Okay, only thing I survived on was boxing, at times. And man, I got my ass handed to me, man. And these people don't understand. You need to learn that. You need to learn to get your ass whooped, tied up, and things like that. So you can go out here and take care of yourself better. That's all.
Someone's asking what happened with you in XPW. You did a mic spot in the early days, but you don't. He doesn't remember you really wrestling much there.
Oh, I just go down there, get a bag, and come back. I wasn't trying to keep it down there, man. I go where the real. You have to go where the real money's at. So sometimes it wasn't working wrestling. You know what I'm saying? I was always doing security and stuff like that, and I would go work some places, and then there's not really territories. These guys, some of these guys, it's AEW. Okay, then you got WWE, you got NXT. Okay, if you are not running 3 or 4 days a week, don't fool yourself in thinking that, hey, unless you're running once a month and then you knocking down 6 figures or something. Other than that, you're fooling yourself. You see what I'm saying? So it's nothing wrong with going out there and working once a month, twice a month, anything like that. I'm not knocking that, but don't fool yourself. It could get better, but you have to have people who got the energy. You got to have the people who really know the business side of the game. And if you don't have that, that's not your fault. You just got to work with what you got. You know what I'm saying? You got to work. I've been in places where I went to a couple of shows and I had to tell the referee what to do. I had to tell the other tag team what to do. And the partner I was with, so that's how it goes.
The Wrath Child wants to know your thoughts on being part of the TNA Hardcore Justice pay-per-view or TNA Hardcore pay-per-view.
Man, it was cool. It was cool. I got to go to Florida, and kick it for a minute. And I'm gonna tell you what happened, man. Now I got down there and Sabu set me up, man. In a good way though. But I knew being sober, I knew what had happened. So he said, "Yeah, man, I got some brownies." I said, "Okay, you want them brownies?" Yeah, one of my girls, man. I said, "All right, cool." So it was me, RVD. Jack was hanging out somewhere else. You know how Jack do. So we did our thing at TNA, man, and everything. Went out that night and ate that brownie, man, and got into the restaurant where we was eating. And I couldn't drink anything, but I could feel it, man. I said, "Oh shit." It was on. I was beaming, brother. I was beaming. But I was good after that, though. I was good. But he got me. I told him, "You got me." And he started laughing.
Do you have a favorite opponent?
As far as tagging, man, I'm be honest with you, man. Rock and Roll was the favorite, because you learn so much. And you could have Ricky in a chin lock, man. And people just going off, never anything like that. And then we got to ECW. All those guys, the tags we went against, especially, we had the Eliminators, Dudleys. All those was fun, man. All of them were fun, man. But to me, personally, is the Rock and Roll Express.
Garmami wants to know who is the greatest hip-hop artist of all time in your opinion, and how did 1990s gangster rap influence you and Jack's in-ring personalities?
Well, we were. I was already West Coast. I was living in Atlanta, but I was already doing the West Coast. As far as hip hop artists, As far as lyric wise, is BDP. You know, that BDP is lyric wise. Now, when you go out to the West Coast, shoot, man, it's Ice Cube, E40, and the influence of it was the fact is that being in the military and doing some of the things and being in some of the situations, that song was hitting. That song was hitting. It's a lot of guys got that PTSD, and yeah, that song was clicking, man. You know what I'm saying? To keep it real. So that's influenced me pretty good.
Did you ever meet any famous rappers over the years?
Well, I work for a lot of them out here in the West Coast. I work for Too Short, E40, Selly Sale. Back in the day, when I was in Atlanta, shoot, I worked with LaFace Records, TLC at the time, Usher. You know, yeah. And then one of my great nights was we had Spike Lee and working with Spike Lee, Denzel Washington, a couple of cats from that was writers from Sports Illustrated. I did personal bodyguard with them, you know, and I knew how to keep it real. I wasn't no stargazing kind of dude over no dudes, man. Because I remember one time we was at an airport one time and we seen Samuel Jackson, right? And the dude said, "Man, that's Samuel Jackson over there." I said, "Man, do not ever tap me on my shoulder over another dude. I don't care how much money you make it and how famous he is. It's got to be the females if you're gonna get my eyes." I'm just saying.
So how was TLC then?
Oh, they was cool, man. Shoot, I remember one time we had I went over to L.A. Reid's house, man, and Big Daddy hooked me up. He was a bodyguard. He's 6'9", 320, 325 at the time. And I got hooked up with him down to Animal Kingdom the same day I met Lee Haney. You see what I'm saying? And then Evander Holyfield came in to work out at the Animal Kingdom down in Atlanta. So then I happened to look up at the billboard and seen a card. And next thing you know it, talked to Big Dan. Big Dan said, "Hey, man, when can you start working?" I said, "Man, whenever you need me." Next thing you know it, man, we was on our way over to, it was Pebbles and L.A. Reid, went over there. And I think they didn't want to use me at first, but they didn't understand I had just got the deal over at Smoky Mountain Wrestling. So I had my gimmick on. So I had my rubber bands on my chin, long hair, chin hair, and then I had my braids and everything. And I think it scared the shit out of them, to be honest with you. But the son at that time jumped down and said, "Hey, that's Mustafa Saeed." I said, "Damn." And that's how I got the job. So I went over there. It was Outcast. Outcast used to come to the hood down where I used to live at, down in Buckhead, down that way. And yeah, the nickname, the name the street I lived on was Copeland, but the nickname was Dopeland. So we had all of them come down there, Outcast, all of them come rap. Then got to see them again at the Gold Record parties with Biggie, Puff, met Fat Joe. Yeah, man, MJG and 8 Ball. Yeah, I've been around some people, man.
Do you still do security now? That type of bodyguarding work?
Hell no. Man, you see how this shit is now, man. You need a bulletproof vest and a helmet on some of these places you go. Now, I tell you what I will do. I'd rather work at, country music. That was one of the easiest gigs I ever had. I think it was Garth Brooks and was working that night. Man, they fed us so good, man. And they took care of us. It was easy that night. No problems. You know what I'm saying? So, but you do those rap. If you do rap, it's going down. You see what happened? The last thing happened in Astro World.
I don't know what happened there.
Oh yeah, well, it's a rapper, man. The guys will probably look him up for me, but it was a rapper down there, man, in Houston, and he did a big show, and man, people started falling out. Now, I don't know. A lot of people are saying that it was fake news, a lot of it, but I don't know. What I'm saying is it went down. And people crashed through the barricades, and ran up on the stage and jamming people, and it was ugly. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they got sued, lawsuits everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's bad. It was bad.
What was the worst bodyguarding situation you've been involved with dealing with some of those rappers?
No, I'll be honest with you. The worst one I had been in was BDP. A couple of other rappers I know, Two Live Crew. A couple of them was there, and things, man. And then a fight broke out, man, and chairs was flying. People getting knocked down, all kind of stuff. I was running people out and running right back in there, ducking chairs. Trying to get people out of there. That was one of the worst nights as far as, could have been serious, real serious. Gunplay was out there too. It was shooting outside, everything, man.
Christopher wants to know about your time in Japan.
Well, I went to Japan. I went to Big Japan Wrestling and went out there, man, and worked and yeah, it was cool. I went out there and did my thing. One of the stories was I worked one of the guys, I can't remember his name now because it's so long ago, but he was actually doing a shoot, man. He was kicking them legs real hard, man. So I had to do what I had to do. I had to clothesline him and I put him out. And I wasn't really the finish, but I caught him with a clothesline upside his head. You know what I'm saying? Because hey, they stiff. Okay, you know how that goes. They stiff. And some people you work out there, they real stiff. So you got to let them know you there.
What were your thoughts when you heard that New Jack passed away?
Man, be honest with you, man, I sat in my room, man. I felt like it was, probably 24 hours on. I was at the gym first though, and guy said, "Man, I think they said New Jack's gone, man." I said, "What?" I said, "Not Jerome, man." So next thing you know, D-Lo talked to him, man, and said, "Yeah, he's gone, man." I said, "Damn, wow, that hurt me, man. I was hurting." People don't understand, man, when you real brothers and you got love with each other, man. You don't even pay attention to that stuff in the past. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this stuff, man, shake it off anyway. But man, it's still hurting now because I still got his number. I still got his text messages and things in my phone, in my phone now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not getting rid of him because we had a good time, man. Had a good time, but I miss him though. Really do.
So I'm guessing you were surprised by it because he seemed to be calming down like in his last couple of years.
No, not surprised because we all gonna go.
Yeah.
It was just that it's just that we still had things to do. We still had projects to go and everything. Had things working things out, and he's gonna watch out for number one first. We all do. You know what I mean? Come on. And then when he felt like, hey man, I got something else for you, Mustafa. You want to do it? I said, let's do it. But I really miss him, man. Because we came up together. We came up together and we grew together. We grew apart at times, and then we came back together with brothers, man. Damn, that was my boy, man.
What did you think about the program you did with them in ECW where they split you guys up? Were you for that?
Yeah. I'm a businessman. I'm a businessman. You know what I'm saying? It's a work, and at that time we drew a lot of money. And it was cool. I didn't have no problem with it because I understand the business. Some guys really don't understand the business side of the game, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you babyface, heel, or something like that. People say something about you on the net. People, they text back. They tweet back, and when people I don't have people say, "Man, you ain't shit. You can't wrestle." But I don't have people say, "Hey, I'm the greatest thing since the cell phone." You know what I'm saying? So some places you go, you're gonna be like, some places you're not. Get over it. Come on, man. This is a grown man business. This ain't that bullshit. You know what I mean?
Now you're training people a little bit still. How did you get into that?
Well, since this COVID hit, I ain't touched a soul since. But what I did was I would work guys as we was getting paid. So some of the guys would be green. So the JR Kratos, he was still learning at the time. Now he's doing his thing. Jacob Fatu, the Jeff Cobb, um, Tim Thatcher. We got a few guys out there, man. You know, that's doing their thing, man. So shoot, it's the other guys I even name, man, that are going to New Japan, that I worked them, and I just gave them the mental side of the game. You know, I told them, I said, it's a lifetime learning how to really work, but you can grasp the things that you need to do to get those bags, get that money in your pocket. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I showed them. I said, you got to own it. So if this is what you're going to do, you do that and you stick with it.
Keaton wants to know if there was any wrestlers that you hated.
Man, I was trying to get my money, man. I ain't got time to be hating on nobody. I didn't have a 6-pack of haterade. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a fifth of jealousy. You know, that bottle that would be on the top of the shelf when you go in the store. I didn't have none of that on me, man. I was trying to get this money, man. So if they didn't fit in, if I couldn't draw no money with them, and we worked together and couldn't make no money with them, shit, see ya. Wouldn't want to be you.
Ronan wants to know, what was your favorite area to work?
As far as getting around is Philadelphia, man, up there in ECW. You know, getting around because I had my folks up in Philly. I had folks down in New York, South Bronx, you know, at the time. Had some people over there in Jersey. You know, ECW was the joint for me. So, but as far as the area of learning was Smoky Mountain. But as far as getting around, partying, and meeting people, man, it was New York, man, ECW. Yeah.
Now, as far as your social media, where could people follow you? If you even do a lot of social media these days, where could they contact you if they want to book you for an autograph session or anything like that?
Just hit me up on Mustafa Saeed, man. And if you really want me there, man, see, this is the thing. You know, once you start making some real money, you know how it is, Hannibal. You start getting some real money. Some people give you offers sometime, man, and y'all still in that side of the thinking. I don't fool with you. You know what I'm saying? If what I'm making I'm making now, and I can get out there and get it, and then you arguing over that whatever I asked for, I ain't got time for you anyway. You ain't got time for me either. It'd be a waste of time on both sides. So, but Mustafa Saeed, just look at Mustafa Saeed, and get in contact with me like that. And people, man, y'all need to pump y'all brakes, man. A lot of times, I'm not saying I'm the most popular guy, but I'm not that dude, man, that talks about certain things that y'all want to talk about, man. I'm past that stage. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time to talk about you like that. You know, I ain't got time to talk about somebody else like that unless I say it to him personally myself. You know, so I'm just not perfect, but I just don't have time for that. So hit me up if y'all want to do some business, man. I'll be ready and everything, man. And Hannibal, I'm gonna tell you, man. I want to thank you, man, for having me on here, man, because I watch your show a lot, man, and it's times, man, you don't realize how much you crack me up, how much you make me laugh at times. I'm looking at it and I say, look at this fool. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the fans have liked this. You're welcome back. Anytime you want to get something off your chest, just send me a message and we'll be happy to have you back.
Man, hey, man, I'll be back. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like them Bills. I'll be there every day. Okay, people talk about, man, if I hit that lotto ticket, you still got to pay bills. Okay, it ain't nothing but going on but the rent and indictments. Tomorrow morning, somebody got to be in court, 8 o'clock in the morning, man, trying to not go to get that 100-year deal, man. You know what I'm saying? Man, come on. Let's keep it real, man.
Very good. Well, I'll let you close this off with whatever you want to say here to the fans. You've had tons of fan questions and comments throughout this whole thing.
Fans, to my fans and to my haters too. You know what you can do with that, the haters. But I still love you. You see what I'm saying? Because that's all I know. But I'm gonna tell you this, people. There's no such thing as lack or limitation. There's abundance of negativity and abundance of positivity, man. And you just gotta hold on. The one you hold on to and you keep watering it like a plant, it's gonna grow for you. So which one you gonna water? You know what I'm saying? You the garden of Eden. You the garden of Eden. You get them damn weeds out your garden, man. You know what I'm saying? So, but don't give up. Don't quit. There's a lot of stuff people quit, and you see that the most talented people don't make it because guess what? They quit. So if you pursuing something, you got goals. You ain't got to tell everybody. Just do it. Just write them down. Do them. Hey, we gonna make it. But I tell you one thing. This is one thing I will say this. Some people made more money than I am in this business, but they never had as much fun as I ever have. I say, I want my kids to be better than me. I told them that, but you can't have as much fun as I have because you can't get down like I can when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not